A very pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Maharlika Broadcasting System, this is Rita Gadi Baltazar, welcoming you to the Ceremonial Hall, or the Hall of Friendship, Unity and Brotherhood, here at Malacañang Palace, where this afternoon His Excellency President Ferdinand E. Marcos once again would be receiving some of our brothers from the hills, members of the Moro National Liberation Front, from the Cotabato, Tawi-Tawi and Sulu area. Just about the other day, the President received also one of the top commanders in the Lanao area, and so this afternoon we shall again be witnessing the President receiving some of the top commanders of the Cotabato Revolutionary Committee and the Tawi-Tawi Revolutionary Committee, including the Holo Revolutionary Committee. In the continuing efforts undertaken by the national leadership, President Marcos has continuously undertaken and supported efforts, both government, private, and including the officials of the autonomous governments in regions 9 and 12, to continue this peace mission of attracting into the folds of the law our fellow Muslim brothers in southern Philippines. And supplementing these efforts of the national government, we have had various programs being implemented in southern Philippines, including the priority areas under the Southern Philippines Development Administration, which is chaired by the First Lady, Madam Imelda Romualdez Marcos herself.
First of all, we are gathered here today once again to renew the old allegiances and friendships and loyalties that were disrupted because of the misunderstandings in the previous years in the Muslim Mindanao area. Because of the faithful and unswerving trust which the leaders have shown in the cause for which they fight. It has been a very messy type of misunderstanding. But now that we settle down to rediscover once again the ancient roots of our common ancestry and our oneness as a race and a nation. We embrace each other as brothers, and we see men from the hills coming down to verify the sincerity and the depth of the dedication of the men who work for the Republic of the Philippines and the autonomous government. As you are well aware, the government of the Philippines realizing the need to pragmatically settle this question, met in Tripoli with the originally recognized, or even then recognized chairman of the Moro National Liberation Front, Mr. Nur Miswari. And on December 1976, entered into an agreement with Colonel Gaddafi of Libya as the principal sponsor, with the quadripartite commission of the Islamic Conference as the witnesses and the participants to an agreement of ceasefire and the enforcement of such a ceasefire. This was December 1976. By January, we had implemented this ceasefire by an agreement between the representatives of the MNLF, headed by Dr. Manjursa.
Tambayapa.
Tambayapa Manjursa. And the creation of ceasefire committees in every province where there had been operations. The ceasefire committees started to operate in January of 1977. Even then I was hopeful that we would be able to finally settle the problem in the South. Unfortunately, the details of the Tripoli agreement were not agreed upon, and it was a part of the Tripoli agreement that the details would be worked out by another meeting which would terminate by about the first week of March. March 5, which is specifically provided in the Tripoli agreement. When I sent another mission, I say another because, of course, the first mission was that of the First Lady. If you will remember, sometime in August of 1976, our country suffered a very severe earthquake somewhere in the south, resulting in a tsunami or a tidal wave, which killed about 8,000 of our people in the southern shores. Because of this, my entire family and the political leadership went to the south to participate in rehabilitation and reconstruction work. You will remember that I visited all the provinces in the south, as far as Tawi-Tawi, and with my children, while my wife visited other provinces like Zamboanga and those in the mainland. You will also remember that on that occasion, the quadripartite committee or commission of the Islamic Conference arrived. And it was apparently headed by Minister Ali Al-Treki, the foreign minister of Libya. He carried with him a formal invitation from Colonel Gaddafi, the president or the head of the Libyan state, for me or the First Lady to visit the state of Libya. As you know, we did not have any diplomatic relations at the time. And the situation being as it is, we were trying to establish communications with Mr. Nur Miswari, who was at the time staying in Tripoli. And when we inquired whether this invitation meant that we could start diplomatic relations, the answer was in the affirmative. When I inquired whether this invitation meant that we could start a negotiation or a conversation with Mr. Nur Miswari on how to settle the Mindanao problem, again the answer was in the affirmative. So I was supposed to go to Libya, but on second thought, because of the fact that the foreign affairs people and the legalists realized that if I went to Libya, the head of state would be dealing with a Filipino in another or foreign state, which has interposed many legal obstacles because of the question of belligerency of states, etc., etc. We will not go into all these details. But Colonel Gaddafi understood this, and repeated that if I could not go, that the First Lady should go. So the First Lady went sometime in November of 1976. She then prepared the groundwork for the Tripoli Agreement, which incidentally we more or less worked out by telephone with Colonel Gaddafi. Many people don't know that I talked to Colonel Gaddafi personally several times at the instance of the First Lady, in order first that there be an immediate ceasefire. Secondly, that we have an understanding about the word status quo, meaning everybody in place and no changes. And then thirdly, that we would consult our people in accordance with our Constitution, or in accordance with the constitutional provisions of the Republic of the Philippines. At first, this constituted a very fine legal distinction which Colonel Gaddafi did not like, because, as you know, he does not believe in plebiscites, he does not believe in referendums. But subsequent thereto, because he had agreed to it, and I had tape recorded the entire conversation. And I told him that I could send the tape recorded conversation to him if he wanted to. He agreed, and he sent me a formal communication saying that, all right, we suggest that the following questions be asked in the plebiscite. And the questions were therefore included in the plebiscite that was held in the April of 1977. But the most important thing is that after Colonel Gaddafi wrote me this letter recommending these questions for the plebiscite, Mr. Nur Misori sent me a letter also confirming the letter of Colonel Gaddafi and agreeing that if there's going to be a plebiscite, the questions that should be asked should be those questions that were recommended by Colonel Gaddafi. So we asked those questions, and those questions were submitted. And one of those the questions was, do you agree to only one autonomous government? And the answer was no. How many autonomous governments do you want? 2. And so forth and so on. You all know the answers in those plebiscites. We agreed then, you and the people, because we invited everybody, whether ordinary citizen or MNLF, to come down and vote so that we will know more or less what to do. And we were decided that the entire government, autonomous government that would be established, would then be placed in the hands of Muslim leaders of your own choice. And after the plebiscite, therefore, for some reason or other, there were some misunderstandings again. Because at first, I offered the chairmanship to Mr. Nur Miswari. I received an answer saying he was coming and he was going to participate in the organization. All these are on the record. They are a part of our government records. But after a while, for some reason or other, he changed his mind. And this I cannot understand, because we had prepared. And I was ready to give to him the chairmanship of any autonomous government that he was going to be established, 9 or 12, wherever he thought he was fitted. I even thought of organizing a separate ministry, if necessary, in order that we would be able to accommodate everybody. But now, uh, it ended up with some of the members of the ceasefire enforcement groups themselves not understanding what was going to happen. Because, as you know, the Quadripartite Commission organized its own enforcement group headed by a
Colonel Cisse.
Colonel Cisse of Senegal.
Senegal.
And later on he was withdrawn. Now, the situation therefore deteriorated to a point where you and I didn't know what was coming. But the people had spoken in a plebiscite. And when the people give a mandate in a plebiscite and in a referendum, not even the president can deny or refuse to enforce and implement the results of that plebiscite. And so I issued executive orders or the decrees creating the two autonomous governments. The two autonomous governments now existing, regions 9 and 12, and excluded the provinces which you, in your plebiscite votes, had excluded. So that we now have Region 9 composing Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, and the two Zamboangas. And Region 12, the two Lanaos, Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao, which makes 5.
5 and 5.
And 5. These are the provinces now within the autonomous governments. And at the same time, we followed the provisions of the Tripoli Agreement. You will be patient with me if I explain all of this, especially for our audience, our people who are now listening to these ceremonies, because this is a nationwide broadcast. Because I have received many inquiries as to why, if you have established the two autonomous governments, there should still be any fighting in the South. And I would like to point out some of the misunderstandings. You see, whatever we say, the first basis of any agreement or understanding is mutual trust. And at the very beginning, I must admit, there was mistrust on both sides. Mistrust because of varied reasons, some of them personal. At the same time, let us also admit that there was a little selfishness on both sides. There was selfishness on the part of some of the government people, selfishness on the part of those who wanted a separate state. Because, as you know, the Chief Minister of Sabah wanted to meet with me, Chief Minister.
Harris.
No. Tun Mustafa, who, as you very well know, was among the first to give the MNLF all the facilities in Sabah. We have tried to accommodate everybody, but when Minister Tun Mustafa lost the elections, I decided to visit Sabah after the meeting in Kuala Lumpur. I requested permission from the Prime Minister of Malaysia, and he gave me the Deputy Prime Minister as my guide. Chief Minister Haris Saleh also escorted us all the way from Malaysia to Sabah. I brought with me my wife and my son to show to the people of Sabah, especially those who even then had very angry reactions to the Sabah claim of the Philippines, that we trusted them, because they could very well have disposed of us in Sabah if they wanted to. But I met some of the leaders of the MNLF and some of those who were still in hiding in Sabah. And we came to an agreement that we should be meeting occasionally. The reason I mentioned about going to Sabah is because I know more or less what is happening in Sabah. I know more or less in accordance with the communications that keep coming to me from Sabah. What ails our present efforts to stop the fighting? And therefore, I'm very happy to note and to see that one of those who first who came in to help us was the former intelligence officer of
Rasul.
Mr. Nur Miswari, Rasul
Abdullah Rasul.
Abdullah Rasul, who is here. And he has brought with him the desire to see to it that bloodshed be stopped, and the feeling of many of our countrymen that we should exert all efforts in order to attain this objective. This is the reason why, when I was asked, when do you want all the men who want to see you to come to Malacañang? My answer was, as soon as possible. But it is approaching your birthday and you'll be busy. There is nothing more important than peace in southern Mindanao, and that is more important than my birthday celebration. In fact, there is no greater gift for me on my natal day than to be able to embrace my brothers back to the Republic of the Philippines, which I do right now. Many of the commanders, from Commander Ronnie, Jimmy, and Abdullah, as well as the others who have come to Malacañang, are to be congratulated. I extend to them my thanks. I extend to all of you my thanks for coming to see me here. I gather that many of us have suffered and sacrificed. In fact, one helicopter is still missing with some of our own men, both sides. And I condole with everybody on this. We hope that they are merely somewhere. They have just made an emergency landing and cannot be contacted because of the destruction of their communication facilities. But whatever it is, today we have three groups. One from Tawi-Tawi,
Sulu,
the other from Sulu,
Maguindanao.
and the other from Maguindanao. May I then call upon first, we go farthest, Tawi-Tawi. Call upon the head, the commander.
Commander Frank.
Commander Frank. Commander Frank. Or would you like somebody to say something before?
Mr. Rasul will interpret, sir.
Oh, yes. Commander, how are you?
Coming from the Tawi-Tawi Revolutionary Committee of the Moro National Liberation Front, Zone Commander number 3, Frank Habib Ismail.
This thing here, sir. dito pa lang. You please say a few words you want to.
President Marcos receives today three
Really,
groups
you will,
from Tawi-Tawi, from
please,
Holo, and
interpret
from
it.
Cotabato.
There is need for interpretation, no? But I don't think you need an interpreter. Please face the audience there.
May I give a few words?
Yeah,
Well, okay.
Ito lang. Ito lang. Ito sa... Okay.
Ayan.
Face the president.
His Excellency, President Ferdinand E. Marcos, the Honorable Carmelo Barbero, the Honorable Romulo M. Espaldon, other distinguished officials of the government, my brothers in Islam, friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. At the outset, and in behalf of my brothers from the provinces of Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, and one from Palawan, I wish to express our deepest thanks and appreciation to His Excellency for this rare opportunity. The same thanks and appreciation are also expressed to the Honorable Carmelo Barbero, the Honorable Romulo M. Espaldon, the Honorable Ulbert Ulamatugum, and the Honorable Nur Hussein Utatalam. The same thanks and appreciation are finally expressed to those who in one way or the other made this occasion a reality. In compliance with your desire, His Excellency, to win back our misguided Muslim brothers in the hills and those in sanctuary in foreign countries, we, your partners in Region 9, in the implementation of your policies and programs of government, have made and will always be exerting the best of our efforts. The physical presence of our brothers here from Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, Palawan, of course not to exclude those from Maguindanao and from Cotabato and Lanao, demonstrates their sincere and true intention to return to the folds of the law, to join you in uplifting the socio-economic programs, the socio-economic conditions of the people of Mindanao, particularly the Muslims. As a former MNLF leader, I would say that the people of Mindanao could not ask but for more. Your handling of one aspect of development alone, that is the physical transformation of Mindanao through your massive infrastructure projects and programs thereat, is in fact a feat which must be and ought to be reckoned by the enemies of the state, including the central organization of the Moro National Liberation Front. From the province I hail, let me cite the fact that its separation from the original province of Sulu would have not been a reality in the absence of your sincere effort. From the barrio of Bohe, Indangan, Simanul, Sulu, Simanul Tawi-Tawi, I should say, would have not been a recent recipient of a 5 million peso project, again in the absence of your effort. Before concluding these short remarks, may I present and members of the entire zone of Zone 3 of the so-called Tawi-Tawi Revolutionary Committee. First is Commander Frank Ismail, the zone commander of Zone 3. Next is Abdul Rasa Habib. Chairman of the Provincial Islamic Court and member of the Provincial Congress. Abdul Ghani Haji Ismail. Field Commander. Abdul Muin Ismail. Recruiting and Training Officer. Salib Julpaki Jikiri. Field Commander. Omar Sali Loko. Transcom in charge. Irum Sakib. Head Striking Force. Maharaja Khalil, Mass Leader. We have one from Palawan Province, Tul Lenin, Logistic and Supply Officer. And may I present our brothers from the province of Sulu. Jul Amri Tugusan, Field Commander Zone 2. Abu Bakar Johaili, Demolition Expert. Upau Sakilan, Zone Commander, Zone 3. Nusuri Jinni, Field Commander, Zone 1. And we have one from Basilan, Hamid White, Field Commander, Zone 2. The former chairman of the Provincial Islamic Court of the so-called Tawi-Tawi Revolutionary Committee would want to say a few words.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. His Excellency, President Ferdinand E. Marcos, President of the Philippines under new society. Members of the sitting on the chairs whom I cannot recognize them, and some other ranking officers from the highest to the lowest. My brothers and sisters under new society, both Christians and Muslims in the Philippines. May I express my reason to His Excellency and President of the Philippines and the First Lady why I came out from the MNLF organization, because I found out that this organization will be a failure due to their principles. Two, and I found out that His Excellency President Ferdinand E. Marcos and the First Lady Mrs. Imelda Marcos sacrificed their effort in exerting their kindness and helpfulness to the entire people in the country, particularly to the Muslim in the southern Philippines. By virtue of helpfulness and kindness, I submit my physical body and my souls to die under a Filipino flag. In honor of His Excellency President and First Lady of the Philippines. Lastly, may I request His Excellency that Colonel Betita and Colonel Asuncion will be our general in the southern part. For these reasons, may I thank His Excellency and the First Lady for their kindness and helpfulness to the whole people in the country. I thank you.
Before we wind up this portion, may I call on Sulaiman Salazar, demolition expert of the Zone 2 Tawi-Tawi Revolutionary Committee. May I also present two of those who were a part of the negotiating team. May I call on Salip Subula and and First Lieutenant Senti Wyatt. The former zone commander of Zone 3 would want to say a few words, and it will be translated by the Honorable Alberto Lamat-Tugong.
Representing the Tawi-Tawi Revolutionary Committee of about 500 men, Frank Habib Ismail, Zone Commander, number 3.
Ni paluas ni Priaman Parinta at na makahati ako pasalan si President Marcos magmuhot-muhot usab kami Muslim ma Southern Mindanao nabang makami.
I finally decided to come out because I found out that His Excellency President Ferdinand E. Marcos is sincere in uplifting the socio-economic and overall conditions of the people of Mindanao, particularly the Muslims. That's all. Thank you very much.
The first group of former Moro National Liberation Front commanders been received here by the President.
Next group, before I make any further statement, the next group is from Maguindanao.
We have just witnessed the
Yes,
Tawi-Tawi
spokesman.
Revolutionary Committee with 500 men, Holo Revolutionary
Assemblyman
Committee with 115 men, and one from Basilan also with several hundred men. And now the President will receive the Cotabato Revolutionary Committee of the Moro
His
National Liberation
Excellency, President and Prime Minister Ferdinand E. Marcos, Honorable Minister Barbero, Admiral Spaldon, General Castro, Commander Ronnie, Commander Jimmy, Chairman Detamano, and Chairman Tugong, fellow workers in the government. At the outset, I wish to convey our thanks and gratitude to the first couple for all the comforts, help that have been extended to our group and the rest of the residents of Region 12 in particular. You will note, Your Excellency, that one of the commanders that I'm supposed to introduce to you is a zone commander of Zone 4 who have taken over when Zone 4 Commander Sami came out together with Commander Ronnie and myself. Under the KRC faction, under the leadership of Haji Murad. Your Excellency, Zone 4 Commander Ahmad Sandab, under the faction of Haji Murad, is now here to please pledge his unqualified support for your programs and the Ministry of Municipal. Commander Mugawan Abid, a foreign train also. Zone 4. Kasi Kanapia, a field commander. Kasan Mangon, a field commander from Zone 4. Sali Di Mapalaw, a commander in the Colombia. Hamza Kanakan, a field commander also. Ben Limba, a field commander and a military chairman. And I wish to make it known to Your Excellency that he is a political instruction in the Cotabato Revolutionary Committee. Malantik Bagel, a reporter, because in our organization we have reporters also. Idi Pendaton, who became my vice after my vice resigned. But he has no relation whatsoever with Congressman Pendaton, Your Excellency. Sami Kasim, Commander Sami Kasim, a brother of Foreign Train Commander Tony Kalbugan. Ruben Zakaria, a field commander also. Commander Dado Haji Salik. And one time he was supposed to have died, but he's still alive. Daba Dalatan, field commander, member of the Bravo Company. Badu Salik, a member of the Alpha Company. Ustad Abdullah Amblagan, a provincial information officer and chairman of the military tribunal. Ustad Osman Dimalan, a municipal chairman of the municipal organizer. Tiama Kamat, a commander a striking force. Malano Haji Sulaiman, member of the provincial chaos intelligence. Ahmad Imam, commander of the famous Buaya squad in Malala, formerly Colombia, now Dato Praglas. Jenodin Dundi, member of the intelligence group. Frank Taiwan, commander, field commander. Pasila Mama, a field commander operating in along the Rio Grande River. Mandamanku, also a field commander. Commander Panigel, the last but not the least, municipal chairman of the Columbia Revolutionary Committee, Haji Ismail Manipal. This, Your Excellency, are the group under KRC group under Commander Haji Murad, who is pledging their unqualified support for your administration. They have further. Before getting further, Your Excellency, I wish to make it known that these commanders have come out through the able negotiation of and close coordination of between the military and the civilian government in our place. We have Mayor Dato Samad Mangilin of Buluan, Mayor Vice Halilang Mangilin, Colonel Oliveros of the 16th IB, Dominator Oliveros, who have played an important part in restoring peace and order in our area. And of course, Engineer Basi, who is now with the 16th IB. Well, Your Excellency, the group here now is offering on your forthcoming birthday a peace in our region.
That's the best birthday gift that I could probably have. It's peace in our land. Congratulations to each and every one of you.
The Cotabato Revolutionary Committee, with its 24 commanders, led by Abunal Salindab, Deputy Zone Commander for Zone Number 4, having approximately under them about 300 men, have now been received by His Excellency
The next
President
group is
Ferdinand
from,
Marcos.
Oh, that finishes it.
Tawi-Tawi, Sulu, and Maguindanao. 38 people.
We have received this afternoon
First of all, allow me to now announce that since you have come to me, without going through the formal procedure of applying for and processing, I hereby order the grant of amnesty to each and every one of those who have come to see me today, so that they may walk the land. You may wonder why we wanted the names to be listed. We do so because it is necessary that the listing be complete in order that the proper documentation may be made of the fact that today you have come under the protective mantle of the powers of the presidency. The days just before my birthday have been marked by these repeated efforts to show allegiance, loyalty to the Republic of the Philippines and to our Constitution. And indeed, may I remark that The Islamic Conference itself recognizes the fact that it must be the Constitution and the territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines that should be recognized. When in 1974 the Islamic Conference met in Kuala Lumpur, the resolution there approved was to the effect that any solution in the fighting in the South should be in the context of Philippine sovereignty and territorial integrity under the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines. And because of this, I am now aware of the fact that all the members of the Islamic Conference, barring none, including Libya, do not support any effort to establish a separate state. If, therefore, Mr. Nur Miswari has changed his position and now claims that he wants a separate state, he will have to answer to the members of the Islamic Conference, not to us, not to you, nor to me. Although when you were together, he told you that all he wanted was that there be reforms and there be an autonomous government. Now that we have this autonomous government, he goes further. This goes to show my original theory that you and I have been manipulated by foreign interests. Tayo ay ginamit na kasangkapan para sa ambisyon at sariling kapakanan ng mga dayuhan. That ito ay lalong hapdi sa kalooban ng isang leader na kagaya ko dahil marahil mahapdi rin sa inyong kalooban na tayo ay ginamit upang pag-away-awayin at pagkatapos magkahiwa-hiwalay. At nais nila ang kinig sa isang bagong bansa na ang Pangulo ay hindi Pilipino. Yung bagong bansa na yan ay sasakupin Palawan, Mindanao, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi. Kanya't kahiya-hiya sa ninuno natin kung atin sana pinabayaan na nagkawatak-watak ang Pilipinas. Bagaman, maski na tayo ay noon nag-aaway, alam ninyo na ang puso ko ay dumudugo tuwing makita ko ang mga sugatan at namamatay sa laban. Ilang beses akong nakialam sa labanan at pinigil ko ang ating mga sundalo. Patika ko sa kanila, hindi maaring ang pagkalutas ng suliranin na yan ay sa patayan, sapagkat mga kapatid natin yan. Ang kapatid ay hindi sinasaktan. Ang kapatid ay inaakit, kinakausap. Ang kapatid ay kinakarinyo. At maigi na lang na ang Panginoon ang pinaka unang nagbigay ng inspirasyon sa atin lahat. Pagkat alam kong lahat na ito ay nasa kamay ng ang ating Ama na nasa langit. Wala sa atin mga mahihinang o mga anak niya, kung hindi, nasa kanyang kamay lahat. I am very happy to see, for instance, that the group that comes from Maguindanao is the original group under Commander Mura. And those who come from Tawi-Tawi practically decimate or practically eliminate the MNLF in the entire island of Tawi-Tawi. I noticed that in the newspapers and in the media, they do not place the number of actual men who are in the field, whom you left behind. And they do not point out that you are commanders, not just ordinary soldiers, but that you command men, and that behind you are hundreds of men who are available for combat even when you raise the flag of intransigence. For instance, Commander Jimmy Lukman here, he had how many men yesterday? 27. He was mentioned as having only 27 men, but he has several thousands under him, and they are still in the field and they are waiting. They're waiting for these commanders to go back and tell them what has happened in Malacañang. What did the President say? Has he given us the right to return as free men? Has he given us the right to be treated as citizens of the Republic and not as second-class citizens of the Republic of the Philippines? And I say to you, as long as I am President, so long as I am President, you will be treated as brothers, comrades, and the equal of any Filipino here. I wanted to emphasize the fact also that the Muslim Mindanao area is an area with many problems that were left behind. Nasabi ko na nga kanina ng mga dayuhan. The colonizers left the time bomb in Mindanao. Hindi nila inayos tayo eh. Pinabayaan nila tayo nag-away-away. Hindi lang sa pinabayaan tayo nag-away-away, pinag-away pa tayo. Pinag-away-away pa tayo. They're still in the field and they're waiting. They're waiting for these commanders to go back and tell them what has happened in Malacañang. What did the President say? Has he given us the right to return as free men? Has he given us the right to be treated as citizens of the Republic and not as second-class citizens of the Republic of the Philippines? And I say to you, as long as I am President, so long as I am President, you will be treated as brothers, comrades, and the equal of any Filipino here. I wanted to emphasize the fact also that the Muslim Mindanao area is an area with many problems that were left behind. Nasabi ko na nga kanina ng mga dayuhan. The colonizers left the time bomb in Mindanao. Hindi nila inayos tayo eh. Pinabayaan nila tayo nag-away-away. Hindi lang sa pinabayaan tayo nag-away-away, pinag-away pa tayo. Pinag-away-away pa tayo. Pagkatakala nila sa pamagitan ng pag-aaway ng mga magkakapatid ay kanilang mahati ang ating lupa. Bakit magkakaroon nung araw ng alala ba ninyo sila sa panahon ng Amerikano diyan lumaki si blackjack Pershing around the Lanao Lake. Saan nakakuha ng malaking pangalan? He was the first one to bring artillery into the Lanao Lake. Tuwing mababasa nung araw yung mga labanan natin sa Lanao Lake, alam ninyo, ako isang estudyante ng history. Binasa ko lahat ng mga laban din ni Pershing sa Lanao. Pare-parehong pangalan. Lahat ng mga bayan, lahat ng mga sityo, lahat ng mga, naroon lahat. Kung saan tayo napalaban, doon din napalaban yung puti. Kaya't ako'y nagsususpetsa, siguro nga itong mga lintik na ito ay talagang sinadyang. Tayo ay hindi ugnay, hindi magkasama. Ganon din sa Sulu, ganon din sa Tawi-Tawi. Bakit noong panahon ng laban sa Hapon magkaisa tayo? Kayong mga taga Sulu, marahil naaalala ninyo ang aking kapatid na who was commander of Camp Andres, si Pacifico Marcos, na dahil sa umalis ng sandali si Captain Bundal, Lieutenant Marcos became the camp commander in Sulu. Camlon was his chief guide and principal translator. Kanya't alam niya ang Sulu. Isa siya sa mga nagsasabi sa akin, huwag natin saktan yung mga ating kapatid ng taga-Sulu. Pagkat utang niya ang buhay niya sa mga tao sa Sulu. Alam niya. Ako rin, isang sundalo. Nagtataka ako nung isang laban namin. Matagal ko na sinasabi, ito uulitin ko na naman sapagkat ako dinadamdam kong napakasarap ang mga nangyayaring sa mga araw na ito. Noong mga 3 sa 4 ng Enero 1942, kami paatras sapagkat malakas ang pasok ng Hapon. At hindi namin mapigil ang kanilang mga tangke at mga cavalry. At napalabang kami dyan sa Porac, Pampanga, ng sunod-sunod. Ang bilin sa amin pigilin lang ninyo sila ng 48 hours. Pagkatapos ng 48 hours, hindi. Sapagkat yung mga kasama namin galing sa Timog hindi pa nakakaabot sa Kalumpit Bridge. So you keep them until January the 5. Keep the line until January the 5. Kaya't maraming masyadong nasugatan. Pagkat dumami ang mga Hapon. Nung ako'y nasugatan, ang pumulot sa akin ay isang kilala kong Pilipino. Hinila ako at dinala ko sa foxhole niya. At nung makita ko, pati siya ay may sugat din. Dumudugo din siya. At pagkatapos, tinanong ko, tiga ba, anong unit mo ako? Siya ay 26 Cavalry daw. Sapagkat yung 26 Cavalry ay flank guard namin. Flank guard ng 21st Division to which I belong. Doon sa Porac, pagkatapos naglabas siya ng kanyang prayer beads. Doon ko nakita na kami pala ay magkaiba ng simbahan. I was a Christian and he was a Muslim. We were praying to the same God. But here was a man. Ito hindi ko man lang kilala ang pangalan. Ni walang panahon tanungin ang pangalan sapagkat putukan at pagkatapos linusob na naman kami na Hapon. At tinamaan muli siya. Kinarga ko din naman siya. At dinala ko sa collecting station nung makapalakas na ako. But I never knew his name. He probably didn't even know me. Because we didn't have nameplates then. We had uniforms that were barely enough to be called uniforms. But so I owe my life to a Muslim. And perhaps a Muslim owes his life to me. But why should it be between Muslim and Christian? A Filipino helped another Filipino. Because when our blood fell on the same ground, they were both as red as could be. There was no difference between the Muslim and the Christian. Kanya't ako ay napapaiyak ko minsan tuwing naalala ko mga lahat na nangyayari ang ginawa sa atin ng mga dayuhan. Naalala ko nang pagsisimula muli niyan, ang umudyok sa mga dating namumuno ng mga MNLF ay dayuhan. Dayuhan at hindi Pilipino. Kanya't ako'y natutuwa na ang inyong handog sa akin, sa aking kaarawan, ay katahimikan sa loob ng ating bansang minamahal. I therefore order also that henceforth these men shall be included in the program of rehabilitation and restoration, which has been marked out under the Southern Philippines Development Program. Is the First Lady still here? Will you now invite her to come here so that she can also meet the... Makita man lang siya ang chairman ng Southern Development. And the executive director has just been appointed, General Benadas. I want to introduce you to him. Formerly assigned to Cotabato, if you will remember, and later on Seattle. He was at the Bulldon fight, you remember, when I went there in 1971. You remember also that Mindanao is the richest possible region in the Philippines. Mindanao has all the potential. Tingnan ninyo ngayon, nakataas na naman ang typhoon signal number 1 dito sa Manila. Ang Manila tinatamaan ng no less than 20 typhoons every year. Na sasalantaan lahat ng mga tanim at nawawala ang ating mga ani dito sa Luzon, sa Visaya. Pero sa Mindanao, pambihirang magkaroon ng bagyo. Kanya't the policy of government now is to move southwards towards Mindanao. And while I am president, I promise you, we will make Mindanao as prosperous as the island. And that is not just a political promise. That is a promise which I hope to see implemented before I die. I want to see Mindanao rise up and become a strong pillar of the Republic. I want to see Mindanao with its people as prosperous as anyone here in Luzon. Hindi yung mga kagaya kong nagkakamot, isang kahig, isang tuka. Kung hindi, meron tayong talagang programa, plano para sa bawat isa. Irrespective of birth, kaano man pinakababa ang pinanggalingan ng bawat isang mamayan, ay dapat mabigyan ng pagkakataon upang umunlad ang kanyang buhay. Mindanao has been left behind by many cultural, political, and economic reasons. Many of our children were not educated. Many of the people have now been displaced. Kung pakikinggan mo yung mga ibang mga nanonood ay parang gusto pa nilang magpatuloy muli ang laban at nang lalong masalanta at lalong saktan ang ating mapinsala ang ating mga mamamayan. But while I am President of the Republic of the Philippines, I will try everything within my power to see to it that there shall be one race, there shall be a united race, and there will be no divisions, irrespective of whatever the causes may be. Gagawin natin lahat upang magkaroon ng isang diwa, isang bansa. Naririto ang unang gina.
The ceremonies we have witnessed earlier this afternoon involve the return to the fold of the law and their expression of loyalty and cooperation to His Excellency President Ferdinand E. Marcos by the revolutionary committees from Tawi-Tawi, Jolo, and Cotabato. And the President has requested the First Lady, Madame Imelda Romualdez Marcos, to join and meet with our brother Muslims from southern Philippines.
Madam First Lady, Governor, and Chairman of the Southern Philippines Development Administration, the men who have come out to show to the entire world, not just to us, to the entire world, that we are one people, isang bansa, isang diwa. And they are led or grouped into three. One is the Tawi-Tawi group. Will you please, the Tawi-Tawi group, please stand up. And headed by Commander Frank, but with Abdullah, where is Rasul, as their spokesman, who's the intelligence officer who surrendered, came from Sabah. We will ask them to later come and have a picture taken behind us, one by one. I mean, as a group. Perhaps we can do it now.
No.
Can you come and group by group first? The
President Marcos introduces to the First Lady, or presents to her rather, the various Revolutionary Committee commanders of the Moro National Liberation Front who have come this afternoon to pledge their support and cooperation to the President and to the government of the Republic of the Philippines. The groups coming from Tawi-Tawi, their commanders, with approximately about 500 men with them. The group from Jolo with approximately about 115, and the group from Cotabato
this practically breaks
with
the entire
approximately
MNLF
300
in Tawi-Tawi.
men.
Breaks it up.
President Marcos now requests a group from Tawi-Tawi, from Jolo, and from Basilan to have a souvenir photograph with both the President and the First Lady, Madame Imelda Romualdez Marcos, together
through?
with the military
All right.
officials,
Now we will ask the
Admiral Espaldon,
Sulu group
Deputy Minister
to
Carmelo Barbero, General Delfin Castro, including representatives of the autonomous
Sulu.
governments, Chairman Simeon Datomanong of Region 12 and Chairman Tugong of Region 9, and two former commanders of the Moro National Liberation Front who are also
Basilan,
now
Palawan.
with the government, Commander Jamil Lukman and Commander Ronnie Amelil Malajuk. The President also requests the other commanders coming from the Basilan Jolo Islands to have a souvenir photograph with him, as we have just witnessed the ceremonies this afternoon where this field commanders or zone commanders have pledged their support and loyalty to the government and to the
next,
President.
Maguindanao, with Assemblyman Mangele.
From the province of Maguindanao, the zone and field commanders
mayor,
of the KRC,
the
or
negotiators,
the
Colonel Oliveros,
Cotabato
come here.
Revolutionary Committee.
Engineer, Mrs. Mayora. She's also mayor.
Over the past days, we have witnessed a continuous number of commanders who have come here to Malacañang to pledge their support to the President. Just the other day, we had the top commander from the Lanao province, Commander Jamil Lukman, who now sits with the President at the presidential table, who has approximately about 1,400 men under him in the
All
Lanao
right.
provinces.
Very good. Now,
To
can
have
we call
pledged his
everybody to
support
come
to
here?
the President.
Lanao group.
Lanao
the big
group and
He
the
has likewise
Sulu
been
group.
named as project director for the development of the Lanao Lake and will shortly be appointed by the President to the Executive Council of the Autonomous Government of Region 12.
About the men of
President
Jimmy.
Marcos
Bring
has
them-
requested
Bring them also, so that we have a good picture.
all of the field commanders, zone commanders of the Moro National Liberation Front present here this afternoon.
Some in front, come. Some can squat.
You want to sit down,
To
squat
sit
there.
with them
The young
for
ones, the young ones.
souvenir
Everybody is
photograph,
young.
as this indeed is the most symbolic and a most important occasion for them, as they in turn will express to the people and the men in the field what has transpired here at Malacañang, in order that they too may be able to bring more men into the folds of the law and in support of government programs. The President has requested the First Lady, as chairperson of the Southern Philippines Development Administration, to sit with them, as
Now may
she
we
has
ask the
had
autonomous
various
government people to come here?
priority
Also join
programs.
us, Al Kalwang and Speaker Tutalum. Where is Abul? Kaya.
President Marcos has also requested the officers of the autonomous governments of regions 9 and 12 who are here this afternoon to join in the photograph, as they too in many ways have participated in negotiating that these men who are still in the hills would come now and join the efforts of government at peace and at development. As you were mentioning earlier, the First Lady, as chairperson of the Southern Philippines
Very
Development Administration, has listed down various priority programs and projects, and has also named several region action officers for the programs under Executive Director General Antonio Venatas. These are some of the ongoing programs which in a way would affect the depressed areas, and particularly the Muslim areas in southern Philippines. In behalf of the Maharlika Broadcasting System, from the ceremonial hall,
I will now request the chairman of this
we also
Philippine
participate
Southern
in this
Development Administration
ceremonies
to
being
say a
held
few
here
words.
this afternoon, as indeed most historic for the entire Filipino nation. The First Lady has been
Mr.
requested.
President, fellow workers in government, distinguished leaders of the MNLF, and my friends. First of all, I would like to welcome you not only to the back to the fold, but also to our family, and to be friends once again of President Marcos and myself. And as you all know, you have drafted me, at least those who were ahead of you, drafted me to be the head and chairperson of the SPDA, Southern Philippines Development Administration. And the work thereat is to give and deliver and coordinate basic services to the different regions, towns, settlements in Mindanao. And of course, when I talk about Mindanao, it includes Tawi-Tawi, Sulu, and Palawan, and the other islands thereat. And it is our responsibility to make sure that all these basic services will be delivered to the residents thereat, especially the Muslims who will need a lot of help in Mindanao. Thus, but the main thrust, as you must have heard from the President, would be the delivery of a basic service known as livelihood. We will make sure that each and every one of you will have a source of livelihood, that you shall be able to improve your quality of life, that you shall be able to educate your children, to have a roof over your heads, and all of this will be, all these basic services that will be delivered thereat will be viable, because you can afford them, because you have a source of income. And this is what we will be working at. And I am sure with the total support of the President, the other day when Commander Jimmy Lukman was here, and Ronnie, and of course Albuquerque and all the leaders thereat, he signed several papers that would give a lot of development projects thereat. Maybe very few do realize that the biggest portion, the biggest percentage of the government resource is now being channeled to Mindanao. And I'm really privileged and lucky to be so honored and privileged to serve you. As you know, my heart always goes for those who need love, service, especially the people in Mindanao who has long been deprived of many of these services from the national government. And you can be sure that with your support and the President, I am sure that we will succeed in bringing about fulfillment in the land of promise, which is Mindanao. And seeing the commitment of the MNLF leaders, if you were so committed to stay in the mountains for 13 years or more, I am sure that with the same commitment, we don't need 13 years to develop Mindanao. In a few years, we can assure you that Mindanao will be a land of fulfillment and happiness for the people thereof. And right now, we have had, in the last few weeks and months, we have been sitting down with the leaders of Mindanao for the different regions. We have organized ourselves, and we need a lot of manpower in the delivery of these basic services. We will need each and every commander's service and help to bring about this development program. We have many, many plans for Mindanao, and we will make sure that in every town, every settlement, every village, there will be some kind of an industry that will give livelihood to the people thereof. And we will make sure that water, power, food, shelter, clothing, medical service, education, and all of these basic needs will be delivered to the people thereof. So, but as I said, the main thrust would be, of course, the delivery of some kind of a livelihood. And with the Ministry of Industry and with different ministries like Ministry of Labor to deliver skills and training programs. And in the case of the Ministry of Industries, we are sure that we shall be able to deliver this basic service of livelihood and economic base for every settlement in Mindanao. And it is really now, we are now in the process of organizing all of these programs, because it takes sometimes a little longer to organize and to plan. But the moment we finished all of these programs and all of these plans, and we have organized ourselves, the delivery will be easier, because now I know that we have committed people. As I said earlier, if you had committed yourself for 13 years for a cause, I am sure in much less time we shall be able to make our land of promise a truly land of fulfillment. So to each and every one for being one with the country, now that we are isang bansa, isang diwa, as the President had said, I am sure we shall have prosperity throughout the country, especially Mindanao. And this is due to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Well, let me close by saying we will all have to be patient. But initially, for the information of all those who are listening, especially those who are not here, the projects would be livelihood in nature. Thus, there will be a fisheries project in the following regions. 9, Vitali Zamboanga, about 1,200 hectares, fish pond estate. Vitali Livelihood Estate. Isabela Basilan, would be prawn farming, 112 hectares. Fish pond estate, Bagong Lipunan. Region 10, Naawan, Misamis Oriental. Region 12, Buluan, Maguindanao. Lake Gintung Biaya, fish cage culture, Liguasan marshes, Maguindanao. We'll start out with several hundred hectares. Freshwater fishing, cooperatives, and the like. Lake Lanao, fish cage, fish meal, run-out development program. Compact farms, settlements. Big Kawayan, North Cotabato, 7,245 hectares. Buluan and Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao, for cooperative farms, bliss livelihood, mini settlements. Now, these are just examples of what we intend to do. For those who want to go studying, there will be study grants. I have ordered the release of 6,800,000 pesos for additional 250. 2,500. Mali ito. 2,500 study grants, slots. 2 MNLF returnees for 1980 and 1981. I have released a special fund for the training of MNLF returns. Training for what? For any kind of work which they want to learn in order that they can earn their own living. Perhaps they want to go to the Middle East. Well, then let them work in these programs, or in trade, or in marketing. Now, I have released 1 million for the development of Lake Lanao initially. Agus River, Maria Cristina, fisheries, etc., and dairy products. I add to this now an order to the director of animal industry to procure more animals.
Like goats. Because
Goats and
import them. Goats.
Poultry,
Goats.
possibly some cattle for distribution to the families. And this is not going to be just a small parts of a farm. No, this is going to be overall. We'll try and see to it that everybody will help in bringing down the price of meat also. And then settlement areas for the non-Christians, like the Mandayas, Mansakas, Bancayas, in Davao del Norte, Davao Oriental, Agusan del Sur. This we can easily work on. In the Tawi-Tawi, we hope to be able to develop the fishing and trading industries. We should be able to work out some more sophisticated for cooperative farms, bliss livelihood, mini settlements. Now, these are just examples of what we intend to do. For those who want to go studying, there will be study grants. I have ordered the release of 6,800,000 pesos for additional 250. 2,500. Mali ito. 2,500 study grants, slots. 2 MNLF returnees for 1980 and 1981. I have released a special fund for the training of MNLF returns. Training for what? For any kind of work which they want to learn in order that they can earn their own living. Perhaps they want to go to the Middle East. Well, then let them work in these programs, or in trade, or in marketing. Now, I have released 1 million for the development of Lake Lanao initially, Agus River, Maria Cristina, fisheries, etc., and dairy products. I add to this now an order to the Director of Animal Industry to procure more animals.
Like goats. Because
Goats
we
and,
needed to import them. Goats,
Poultry,
poultry, goats.
possibly some cattle for distribution to the families. And this is not going to be just a small parts of a farm. No, this is going to be overall. We'll try and see to it that everybody will help in bringing down the price of meat also. And then settlement areas for the non-Christians, like the Mandayas, Mansakas, Bancayans in Davao del Norte, Davao Oriental, Agusan del Sur. This we can easily work on. In the Tawi-Tawi, we hope to be able to develop the fishing and trading industries. We should be able to work out some more sophisticated
We have
production of high-quality products, because now, you remember in Tawi-Tawi we started with to produce these seaweeds, and then the price went down. Price destroyed the entire industry because we produced too much. We will now produce high-quality products, and we can do it. We should be able to do it. All I ask is that you be patient, because certainly we are resolved that we will work on all of this, and we will get the money, we'll get the funds to bring about development of these regions. Rest assured, once again, that these are not political promises. I'm not running for any office where I suppose you will be required to vote for me. But if it does, of course, please don't forget me. But that is not important. What is important is that you return us free citizens. And a citizen who is a drag and a burden to his family is not a free man. He is a slave. He is a burden and cannot be depended upon to contribute to the public welfare. And this is why we're going through all of this, in order that you, on your own, not because we are helping you, not because we are giving you all of this, but because on your own you want to be a free citizen. On your own, you want to develop your own God-given faculties. On your own, you want to be a dignified citizen, and you want a decent kind of life. We know that. That's what you fought for. We fought for all of this. We fought for this during the Second World War. We fought for this in the underground. We fought for this in all the revolutions against Spain and against America and against all the colonizers. We are still fighting for it. And now we'll fight again a new kind of a war, without guns perhaps, but with the same resolution, because it's a matter of survival or death for our country and for our people. So once again, be patient, rest assured that we will continue with this program. There will be delays. There will be many obstacles. There will be difficulties. There will be many who will come and propagandize among you and say, Marcos has forgotten his promises. There will be many who will come, oray sa salita riyan na, ay, ginakap lang kayo ni Marcos na limutan na ninyo lahat ang inyong mga kailangan sa buhay. Hindi. Maaring mapatagal ng konti sapagkat alam naman ninyo, ang dami ng atin mga suliranin. At ang lawak ng ating bansa. Ngunit, ang uunahin kong haharapin, ang suliranin ng Mindanao. Patawarin ako ng mga ibang mga puo, mga kagaya ng Kailukanuhan. Abe, pakatapos ng salita ng unang ginang kailangan pupunta ako ngayon doon sa mga Ilocano at sasabihin ko, hindi kayo namin nalilimutan. O baka naman maghinanakit sila at sabihin nila yung unang ginang at saka si Marcos nalimutan na tayo. Puro mga Southern Mindanao na lang mga iniisip. Hindi, sapagkat sino bang iyong tutulungan? Nauna, ang uunahin na tutulungan ay ang mahinang anak. Ang anak na nalimutan, hindi pa maaaring yung tumindig magsarili. Yan ang unang tinutulungan ng ama. Kanya't sapagkat naiwang kayo ng matagal na panahon at hindi natulungan ng ating pamahalaan pambansa. Ngayon, ang pamahalaan pambansa ang uunahin ang mga dating naiwan at nalimutan sa sulok ng Mindanao. Kanya't sa mga kasama ako'y nagpapasalamat sa inyo na pumarito kayo. Thank you very much again. And I would like to now swear into office the new member of the lupong tagapagganap ng Region 12. Unang-una, I better sign this first. Hindi pa pala napipirmahan yung appointment niya.
Just the other day, we witnessed the ceremonies here welcoming Commander Jamil Lukman, and today the President signs his appointment as a member of the Executive Council. This completes the membership of the Executive Council for the Regional Autonomous Government of Region 12. Commander Jamil Lukman approximately has with him about 1,634 men in the Lanao provinces and in other adjacent areas, and he has brought with him the other day to the palace about 27 of his top commanders, pledging their loyalty and their support to the President and to the government of the Republic of the Philippines. As both the President and the First Lady have emphasized in the same manner and the same zeal that this Moro National Liberation Front commanders have stayed in the hills fighting for a cause, so too today can we witness that they have pledged with the same fervor and zeal the support they have for the President, the government of the Republic of the Philippines, and the Filipino people. The President briefly outlined various executive orders and letters of instructions which he has the other day signed
Kanang
authorizing
kamay at sumunod sa akin sa panunumpa sa iyong katungkulan bilang acting member ng lupong tagapagpaganap ng Region 12. Ako
si Jamil Lukman
ng iyong tinitirahan
ng Bayang Lanao del Sur
na itinalaga
na itinalaga
sa katungkulan bilang ang iyong katungkulan bilang
ating member lupong tagapagpaganap sa Region 12
ay taimtim na nanunumpa. Natutuparin kong buong husay at katapatan sa abot ng aking kakayahan. Ang mga tungkulin ng aking kasalukuyang katungkulan at ng mga iba pang pagkaraan nito'y gagampanan ko sa ilalim ng Republika ng Pilipinas na aking itataguyod at ipagtatanggol ang saligang batas ng Pilipinas na tunay na mananalig at tatalima ako rito. Susundin ko ang mga batas, mga kautosang legal, at mga dekretong pinairal na mga sadyang itinakdang may kapangyarihan na Republika ng Pilipinas at kusakong babalikatin ang pananagutang ito nang walang anumang pasubali o hangarin umiwas. Kasiyahan nawa ko ng Diyos. Congratulations.
President Marcos has administered the oath of office to Commander Jamil Lukman, Commander Jimmy Lukman of the Lanao provinces, as a member of the Executive Council of the Regional Autonomous Government of Region 12. Witnessing his oath-taking ceremonies are the top commanders from the Lanao province, from Basilan, from Jolo, from Tawi-Tawi, from Maguindanao and Cotabato provinces of the revolutionary committees who have today, this afternoon, pledged their support and their cooperation to the President, to the government, to the Republic of the Philippines, and to all the efforts at peace and socio-economic development in their respective areas of responsibility. As they have pledged their loyalty and their unity with the Philippine government this afternoon, so too has the President and the First Lady, Madam Imelda Romualdez Marcos, pledged continued support for all the government efforts and all the industrial projects, particularly livelihood centers, for the people in southern Philippines, offering the challenge to each of these commanders of the Moro National Liberation Front to then take up the responsibility of being the own leaders in their respective areas for the government efforts in southern Philippines. On behalf of the Maharlika Broadcasting System, from the ceremonial hall or the Hall of Brotherhood, Unity and Cooperation in Malacañang Palace, this is Rita Gadi Baltazar, thanking you all for having joined us this afternoon.